Hi there, welcome back. This is Jerry from StatNote. On our last video, we learned how to get started with StatNote PRO. Today, we're going to learn the basics of using StatNote PRO with TextExpander. So I created this little guide, and if for some reason you were unable to install StatNote TextExpander, there are two options. You can use the Chrome extension, and it will look something like this if you're using Chrome. And while it's a little bit limited, it's an option, and I'll show you in a second how you can expand your dot phrases. So, for example, I believe it's enabled. So if I let me go ahead and close this. Make sure it's not running in the background. It's running in the background. Okay, exit. So right now I'm gonna, you have to be using Chrome to be able to use this. And let me make sure I'm in the right account. Let me show you how to get the TextExpander Chrome extension. So if you go to, you can use Google TextExpander Chrome extension. And here you can, well, I already have it, but you can click here and download it. Let's see if I'm in the right account. Yeah. Okay, so let's give it a try. If I write, okay, so that's one way you can use TextExpander if you were unable to install it on your computer. A lot of clinics do that nowadays. The other option is to use your a Ninja Stick. So let me show you on our website. We have the Ninja Stick, and these are the same dot phrases, but they run on a USB. So you will plug it into your computer, and you do a soft installation, and you can use the dot phrases from there. And it uses a different software. It's called Phrase Express. And you can get it here. When you get it from our website, you get it with a full lifetime license. You can also get it from Amazon, and it's a little bit cheaper because it only includes a personal license. Anyways, let's go back to our tutorial. And there are several ways to get familiar with all our dot phrases. We have over 1,000 of them. So you can get our book. So you can get it on Amazon for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. So you can get the actual book or Kindle, and it's free if it's unlimited. And the other option is to just see the subject index and our website. You can go to, let's see, quick start right here. So here you have all the dot phrases, and you can just review what's available to you. Okay, our dot phrases start with a comma, and that's to avoid any conflict with your dot phrases you might be using with your current EHR. So another way to prompt your dot phrase is using our inline search, and I'll show you in a second. So right now, let's make sure that TextExpander is running. Let's see. I just close it. So okay, so let's open TextExpander. Make sure it's running on the background. and you can actually close TextExpander and it's still gonna run in the background. If you want to open it, just click here and open TextExpander. Okay, so here you have all the dot phrases, and as I say, they all start with comma. So you see the let's see. And it's so you could change that if you want. If you want to start with a different prefix, you can change. Well, actually, let's give it a try. Now, you can't. If you get the Pro version, you're able to change this. And so let's start with our tutorial here. So we use expanded the atrial fibrillation dot phrase. So if we look for it, if so you see it's comma AFib, and this will expand the atrial fibrillation dot phrase. So let's give it a try here. Okay. So that expands the dot phrase. Another way to do it is using inline search, and to do this, you do on your keyboard, hit Control / and this will open right here. So this will open inline search box. So let's say if we look for AFib, it's right here, and you can use your mouse or your keyboard to go down and click enter, and that will insert the dot phrase. Let's try it again. So let's say you do write it like this, and or let's put atrial fibrillation. So there's different ways. So if you don't have to recall all the 1,000 dot phrases and abbreviations. So that this is a great way to search for dot phrases that you want to use. Okay, so just a reminder, if you're using Windows, you want to use Control plus / nope. And if you're using Mac, you want to use Command plus / and that will prompt the inline search. Okay, so all of our dot phrases are categorized by the using the SOAP standard of a progress node. So all the subjective part of the nodes usually, or they might have a suffix with, it's called HPI. Depending if it's short dot phrase, you might not have anything. Let me, for example, AFib. Let me see, HPI. Okay, so the very short ones have a suffix with HPI, but either HPI or no suffix will be the dot phrase that you use for your subjective part of your note. So, for example, if I'm using my dot phrase for diabetes, let's see. So, okay, so I have two dot phrases for diabetes, one for insulin patients and one with PO medications. So, so you see, this is going to be the HPI. part of your note. And then not all the conditions have a specific PE dot phrase for that condition. And for diabetes, I do have one, but in general, let's review there are just a few dot phrases for physical exam. Let's see. So our dot phrases are separated depending on where you're using your note, and we're using a standard SOAP progress note. So if it's a HPI section of your note, that's a dot phrase for that section. If it's for a specific physical exam, that will be a dot phrase used for that. And then I use the hashtag for assessment and plan. And then if you're using a procedure, your dot phrase might end with this suffix. If it's an injection, if it's a message or a lab. So you will see as we start using the software how they're classified. And for physical exam, when I'm writing a note, I usually use a standard not touch exam if it's a simple visit. So let's see. So I use PE adult extra short not touch, and basically it has 9 systems, and it's just for billing purposes. But it's all obvious stuff that you can see in a patient without touching the patient. And as a reminder, this is the basic version, so you're gonna see a few links there. If you get your Pro version, you will get rid of this and you're able to edit your dot phrases. Let's do another example. Let's see. Let's say you're doing a patient with knee pain. So you will want to add a knee exam. So let's see. So like I said, this will be the suffix of the dot phrase. So here's the dot phrase. You can change a few things. If you don't want to include full exam, you can disable this, and then now you insert it, and there you have a example of knee exam. Let's say you saw a patient with abdominal pain, and you want to add the abdomen, which you don't have in this dot phrase. So you will look for it, and it's right here. So you see abdomen. Okay, so now let's go on to a little bit of billing. So let's say you did a knee injection, right? And you don't remember the CPT code for that. So you can easily look for a knee injection, and usually they start with a star. And right there you have the CPT code. EM codes, I mean, probably you will need help to remember the 99213, but let's say you're doing a physical and you can't recall the EM code. So let's see, EM physical. Let's see. So it's classified by age. There you have it. So let's start with an example of a physical exam visit. So let's pretend we have a patient. It's 50-year-old female here for physical. Okay, so our HPI section, let's say, okay, so there are several ways you can find this dot phrase. You could you could do physical 50, and let's see. Okay, so if it's a new patient, you will click here. If the patient smokes, you can tailor it to your visit. If the patient is not exercising, let's say the patient has family history of breast cancer. Let's say the patient still has her period, and okay, so that will insert the HPA section of your physical. Then let's do the physical exam, and I usually listen to the heart and lungs, so I will use my full my complete physical. So, and let's see, so this is what I will use when I'm in the hospital. If I have a patient in the ICU, in this case I'm going to use this one. And you can change the name of the abbreviation of your dot phrases if you have the pro version. You can't do it in the basic version. Okay, so let's do now the assessment and plan. And for the assessment and plan, I use, I call it health maintenance, and it's also by age. So let's do this one. So, and these are all based on the US Preventive Task Force guidelines or recommendations. So it's based by age, depression, cholesterol check, aspirin. If it's a baby boomer, if you want to check for hepatitis, colon cancer screening, a pap smear, mammogram. Let's say that patient that you did a pap smear and you order a mammogram today, and maybe you gave them the flu shot, and the patient is a smoker, and maybe you order a CT lung, and you cancel on tobacco cessation, and let's click OK, and that inserts the dot phrase. And let's say since you did a pap smear, maybe you want to add the pelvic exam, physical exam. So let's look for it. So pelvic PE, it's right here. Okay. Okay. So, and let's say you wanna, now you finish your note and you need your billing codes. So let's say that this established patient, and it's 50. So there you have your code for billing. Let's do a simpler visit, simple call. Let's see, you have the HPI, PE, and assessment and plan sections. On your HPI section, let's look for URI, adult. I have one for kids if you look for pediatric URI. But okay, so let's add that, and you can edit if you want, maybe patient did have fever or not. And let's go to the physical exam. There's a specific physical exam dot trace for URI. So let's look for it. Okay, so that's your physical exam. Probably look at their ears and throat and palpate the neck and listen to the lungs. So you can change or adjust as needed. And then the assessment and plan. Let's see, URI, and usually use the hashtag for assessment and plan. And here is your URI. And in this case, it's the regular recommendations for a call here. Let's review messages. Let's see if you order some labs for your patient came with for the physical. Let's say you order maybe cholesterol, or you were screening for anemia. So let's say the lab was normal. So you're sending a portal message or maybe a letter, and instead of typing all your labs were normal, there's a quick dot phrase you can use here. And they're also in Spanish, and I use the suffix es for Spanish. Sorry, that's English. Let's try that again. Sorry, the suffix sp for Spanish. Okay, and let's say you order a mammogram and you want to write that it's normal, let the patient know that it's normal. So maybe also the pap smear result. Okay. Let's do a visit for the classic triad of diabetes, hypertension, hyperlipidemia. Let's see, HPI section, PE, assessment and plan. So let's say it's a patient on PO medications. So let's see, it's right here. Let's say the patient is taking glipizide and they're complying with medications and they're exercising, but maybe they're not exercising, and they saw their ophthalmologist, hypertension. Okay, so like I said, if it's a small dot phrase, I sometimes add the HPI, but maybe you could have written hypertension and you can find the dot phrase there. And let's say the patient is on StatNote PRO and hydrochlorothiazide and it's compliant with medications. And then hyperlipidemia. Oops. Okay, and then for physical exam, let's say you want a simple, not touch exam. And then the assessment and plan. And here, let's say it is not well controlled. Usually you have to write that it's hyperglycemia. let's say we're gonna add GNU VM, and this is just a checklist for things that I routinely do. Check their cholesterol, microalbumin, diabetic retinopathy. Maybe I did a food exam, and if I want to add that to the physical exam, okay, let's review a rash. A patient comes with a rash, and a lot of times I use a rash dot phrase, and there's our basic questions for general rash. But let's say you suspect it's shingles, so I'm going to use a different one today. I'm going to use shingles, and you could have type shingles or zoster. Let's say I'm back, and physical exam. You can, for example, do a you can put all this documentation so it meets criteria for your coding, and then on skin just add the rash, the physical exam that is pertinent to this condition. So in this case, it's going to be, let's say it's on the left back. Okay, and then for assessment and plan, let's see. Okay, perfect. So you wrote your note in less than a minute. Let's do an example of a patient with knee pain. Let's see. So just a reminder, you don't always have to use the inline search. Like if you remember the dot phrase, you can use type it. Let's say it's oops, let's try that again. Okay, so that will trigger the dot phrase. And HPI, sorry, is the assessment plan. Hashtag, and let's say that we did an knee injection today. So we're gonna add that procedure. We need to document it so we can bill for that. Let's say injection. Okay, let's see right here. Okay. And when it's time for billing, if you don't recall the CPT code, we can easily check, and the codes usually have a star. And there you go. Okay. Let's do another sample with a patient with anxiety and depression. Here, probably you want to add a short, an extra short or not touch exam. So look for the hashtag. Okay, let's say the patient did this is the scores, and let's say we're gonna start medications. Okay, so pretty easy way to document your visit. This is one of my favorites if the patient comes requesting for a PET letter for their anxiety, for example. So let's look for it. So let's see, PET letter. There you go. Let's say you have a kid, the 6-year-old kid comes for a well child visit. Let's see. So you put the age, and then it was gonna be divided in months or years. So let's say we're looking for the one with years. It's right here. And you can go through it and ask maybe the parent all these questions, and then you go to the physical exam. Let's see, so we have for an infant, for a teen, for a toddler, child. Let's go with this one. If it's a male, you will add this. And assessment and plan. This is the same thing again, the age, and then hashtag, and it's right here. So all the vaccines that the patient requires, maybe you didn't do this, so you delete it, and all the counseling they usually do, and for your next, well, shall check. Okay, so just a few more. Let's check a patient comes with a wart. Let's see. On the right finger. Physical exam. Let's do first an extra short. And then on skin, let's add the findings. On finger. Okay. And then for assessment and plan, let's see, hashtag, and here's, so it's a quick way to document patient came for a ward. Let's say that patient came for a suspicious mole. Let's see. So it's suspicious. Okay, so let's add a short, extra short. And then on skin, maybe it looks like BCC, and it's 5 millimeters. Let's see. So let's say that you're going to excise the deletion. Let's add the procedure. So we did a excisional biopsy and right back, and it was measuring 0.5 centimeter. And let's say that we did an intermediate repair. And then this is actually very helpful for billing. Let's say you want to bill for that procedure. So remember, they'll start with a star. Let's see. Let's say we did this. So let's say it was in the back, right? So that's trunk, and it was 0.5 centimeter. Okay. Perfect. And let's say since we did some intermediate repair, we can also add this. Great. You maybe want to add also the visit. And laceration is pretty similar. Anyways, if you have any questions, I'm happy to help. Just shoot me an email, visit our website, or on Facebook Messenger. Take care.